We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today, Jill and I talk about taking land acquisition orders from a single buyer.
Oh my gosh. This is so funny because I think we have different opinions on this. I think we started to talk about this for just a few seconds before we sat down and turned everything on. And he's like, why is this bad? I'm like, where do I start? So hold on. I have a lot to say about this.
I made a career out of taking acquisition orders for commercial property when I started out.
And this is a tad different. So I'm going to share that with you. But before we do that, first, I want to say thank you very much. The gift basket on the shelf behind me is from Alex P. Can I say P or should I say
Sure, right.
Alex Plo. Thank you very, very much. We got your gift basket. We super appreciate it. Haven't really cracked into it yet. I thought I'd just put it on the shelf for today, and then I'm going to crack into it later.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And don't forget to subscribe on the Land Academy YouTube channel and comment on the shows you like.
Peter wrote, anybody have experience incorporating their kids into their land business? I have two girls, age 13 and 9, who both have demonstrated a lot of interest, which is super exciting to me. I know they are young, but they are both motivated and hardworking. They started a couple of side hustles. They're 13 and 9. This is awesome.
I did that at that age too.
Over the last year, and now it looks like they want to edge into the world of land investing. Any thoughts? I got to say, what was so fun is we had our dear Tony in the last career path had his daughter. She's 16, I think.
15.
15, yeah.
Probably 16 now.
Probably 16. Anyway, his daughter in it with him, showing up on the calls. The timing worked out great. She was obviously home from school and jumped in this with dad. And by the way, she dug this up for dad. So I believe this to be true. You know, she and dad were talking about, dad was retiring from one career, looking for a different career or something, and something they could do together and teach her. And she found us and found land and brought this to her dad. And there they were in career path. So I think it's great.
We have 3 children, Jill and I, and 2 of them do very well.
They're in it.
Like I've always said to all 3 kids, I really love 2 of you.
Exactly. It changes all the time. You know, it's so funny though, is that even if they don't get it now, they might get it later. So number 1 and number 3 were in the business. Number 2 wasn't so interested, we thought. Now number 3 could care less, and number 1 and number 2 are in it. So we're hoping that number 3 will, you know, someday like it, maybe not, and that's okay. But if they've got an interest, go for it. I love it.
Here's my real answer to this. All kids, I think, need to have a terrible, terrible job when they're young. They need to fail and get a boss who's awful and just see the real world and what it's like. And then they'll come back into something like this and really understand that.
Maybe appreciate
its
it.
value, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our number 3 is 18. He's got a terrible restaurant job right now, and they work him to the bone. He gets paid pretty well, but and it's opening his eyes about what goes on in life. Mm-hmm. And you know, and I've had terrible, terrible jobs. I'm sure you have too. We've talked about this.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So I appreciate the job that I have right now.
I'm glad you do. My coworkers are a little weird, but that's okay.
Today's topic, taking land acquisitions from a single buyer. This is the meat of the show.
So this is like, I used to keep track of this. Let me back up. So here's what we're talking about. You have, 10 properties on your website. Someone calls you up and none of those 10 are what they're looking for, but they tell you a version of this. You know what? If you've got anything north of 10 acres in the west part of Texas that has access and a creek, or, something like that, I would buy it in a heartbeat. So in your mind, you're like, well, that's easy. I can find that. And you write this down. I did this. I had a running list of people that said they were serious, said they had the money, and were ready to go. So what do? I go off and try to find those things. I might be searching within, like I see this right now too, people searching within the Land Academy community. Back then I didn't have that. But I knew where we were mailing and I knew what was coming up. And I might even say, can we throw this into the mailer? Let's see what we can drum up. And every time, I hate to say this, and I'm sorry for those of you listening going, oh, these are days spent, but I took these orders, I went out and tried to get it, and then I'd call a certain person back and I'd say, here you go. I found exactly what you said. They always had a version of, oh, that one's a little too close to X. Or, oh, I wish it was a deeper creek because I'm searching for this kind of fish or something like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? How much time and money I just invested. And by the way, I took the calls, queued up the deals, did what you said you wanted. And it turns out it's just not perfect enough. So I'm going to finish this. And I know you have a lot to say too. So I eventually just turned, sorry, this is a Jill show.
This is Jill rant.
Exactly. So here's how I solved
I had
this.
no idea. I wrote this topic for me.
I used to think I couldn't do a podcast by myself, but apparently I can. So anyway,
I've literally made millions of dollars doing this. Literally millions of dollars. Actually.
Well, this is my experience. You can get to yours in a minute. Yours is different, but my experience nowadays is it doesn't work. More often than not, it does not work. Seriously, hold on. I can talk LA County stories that did not work with this too. I even put them in escrow for these people. It didn't work. So, so here's what I do now. When I have these people, instead of going down the whole rabbit trail and try to serve them up something perfect with the 18 things that they wanted.
Rabbit trail?
I don't know what you want to call it.
Or rabbit hole?
Rabbit hole. Anyway.
You haven't mixed up
Thank you.
cliches in a long time.
Thank you. Anyway, this is coming off a long weekend.
Don't go down the whole rabbit trail.
Exactly. Rabbit hole. You know what? Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. So we're good. My point is, I just said, you know what? I have great stuff coming up all the time. Make sure you're on my platinum buyers list. Hey, by the way, with your email, I'll put you on there. And that way, when I have new things coming in, you'll get the email and if something, shows up perfect, you'll get notified before I even put it for sale. That's the way to handle that, I believe. Now, apparently you have a different answer.
I've spent my entire career in some form of acquisitions, usually leading the pack. For whatever company I was working for or for myself on, I used to work, I used to call it working at, from my coffee table. This is long before it was ever a thing like it is now, working from home. And here's the key to buying property for people that are going to close deals and pay you. They have to have some type of financial interest personally, and from a professional career standpoint, they need to be responsible for meeting some kind of sales quota.
Okay, well, I understand that.
And I started out selling long-term care facilities or locating long-term care facilities for publicly traded companies who had every quarter had to announce the acquisitions that they were doing. So they couldn't do the deals fast enough and they couldn't pay me fast enough. And so if you are in a situation where you want to call a really large home builder who has to buy land and announce it because they're publicly traded, like Shea Homes or Toll Brothers or something, you're going to make a bunch of dough. And it's a very, very positive thing. What Jill's said in about 8 minutes total is...
Thanks a lot.
His recreation property. She's finding some schmo who wants to.
That's exactly. No, the schmo's finding me. Great. I fall for it.
Looking for a place to put a cabin, and it's just not going to be right. There's all kinds of emotion involved, and not money, not dollar signs involved.
I loved it. My wife hated it. Are you kidding me? You're kidding, right?
If you're going to do this, and it will work, you need to do it with a company who is forced to buy land for whatever reason that their success hinges on it, or houses, or whatever property so this can really work. I wrote this topic to be all positive and everything, but
I came
Just
along and
burn it
poo-pooed
down.
it. Awesome. You know what? I should have eggnog in this cup.
Oh my God. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's next.
What is this? This is going to air on
Today.
So
Happy, this is the
yeah.
20th, Monday the 20th. We are recording. This is one of the few times that we are so far
we're
behind
so late.
that it's almost a live podcast because
It's going to air.
in 3
We
hours.
recorded this an hour before it's supposed to air.
Exactly. Our team's like, hurry up and knock it off.
So it's Christmas week.
It is
my
Christmas week.
point. So we can have eggnog.
We can. Maybe we should.
How many calories are in eggnog? It's
Just-
just
you know what?
atrocious, isn't it?
Here's how I think about it. Eggnog, margaritas, the espresso martinis. If you gotta ask, shouldn't be drinking
Yeah.
it. So
Maybe that's the first drink. One thing of eggnog, and then you go back to the.
maybe it's just the holidays, and you just say, "Have fun. Who cares?"
Okay.
I'll do it I'll start my workout in January, like the rest of the planet. That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go find a
Who
buyer.
cares?
Find a buyer for Jill, so
There
she can
you
talk
go.
on the phone endlessly and make no money at all.
There we go. Thanks a lot.
But I was looking for something that was a little more interesting, something that would get me up in the morning and get me kind of excited. And honestly, I didn't even look at investing in land. And I just sort of stumbled upon it, like I said, just researching other things. And I started digging into it. Steve and Jill, you guys honestly are the most sincere people that I've ever met. It shows on the videos. It really, really does.
I just fell in love with you and your heart and your soul and your integrity and your style. And you delivered really good stuff without hesitating.
The culture within the group, I think, is one of the most attractive things about this.
Whatever decision they make, my first instinct is, I'm sure you did the right thing. You have my support.
The information that you provide out there that is completely free, I think you enjoy doing what you do and you like sharing this information. And to me, it was like, man, you guys are the most sincere. And so I joined because I felt like this is where I belong and this is where I can learn the most. And this is where I honestly think I can take my land career, or at least I can get some help with land career to the next level.
Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy show is called Only You Know the Meaning of Time Well Spent. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I have so many questions for you. Oh, you're excited about Christmas?
I'm excited about Christmas. I'm excited because we're leaving town tonight. We're going to a really nice resort that I've always wanted to stay at. So I showed up here today and I'm actually packed. I'm like ready to go. I'm off and he's like, come on. I said, wheels up, 20 minutes ago. Today I'm like, I'm telling you, come on, let's go.
Darn podcast, throwing a wrench and everything.
Oh, it's good. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable and we really do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel. We are almost at 10,000 and hit the subscribe button. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration.
is by undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.